In just 29 seconds, $4.2 million in classified fund transfers. Kash Patel didn't expect the archived documents. He thought the cameras would focus on his prepared defense. Instead, they captured the exact moment his face drained of color. The Senate chamber fell into absolute silence. What did Adam Schiff reveal that made the next FBI director's nomination crumble in real time? At exactly 2:47 p.m., Senator Adam Schiff walked into the mahogany-paneled Senate Judiciary Committee room, like a prosecutor who had spent sleepless nights building an airtight case. His gray suit was pressed to perfection, but his eyes carried the weight of classified intelligence that could topple careers. Across from him, Kash Patel sat at the witness table, like a man carved from confidence and ambition, his navy tie perfectly straight, FBI nomination folder positioned precisely in front of him. The afternoon light streaming through the tall windows cast long shadows across the chamber. 23 senators lined the curved desk, their faces ranging from skeptical to supportive. Behind Patel, 3 legal advisors shuffled through briefing papers, their movements betraying nervous energy despite their client's calm exterior. "Mr. Patel," Schiff began, his voice cutting through the chamber's tension like a blade through silk, "you've testified under oath about your role in Operation Crossfire, Hurricane Oversight. Is that correct?" Patel leaned into his microphone, his voice steady and practiced. "That's correct, Senator. I served as senior counsel to Chairman Nunes during the House Intelligence Committee's investigation into FBI misconduct." Cameras zoomed in as reporters' pens froze mid-sentence. "And during that oversight," Schiff continued, his fingers drumming once against his leather portfolio, "you had access to classified materials. Materials that, according to your sworn testimony, you reviewed but never retained or distributed." "Absolutely correct." Patel's jaw was set, confident. His legal team nodded approvingly. 4 seconds of absolute silence followed. The chamber held its breath. Schiff opened his portfolio with deliberate precision. The rustling of papers seemed amplified in the stillness. "Mr. Patel, are you familiar with Treasury Department Transfer Authorization TT 4002? Patel's knuckles went white against the table edge. "I would need to review the specific document. It's a $4 $2 million wire transfer," Schiff interrupted, his voice rising slightly. "Authorized by your digital signature from the House Intelligence Committee's classified operations budget to a private consulting firm called Sentinel Strategic Solutions." The committee room erupted. Senator Lindsey Graham's gavel pounded 3 times before order returned. Patel's lead counsel leaned forward, whispering urgently in his ear, but Patel waved him off, his face now flushed red. "Senator Schiff, I categorically deny any involvement in unauthorized fund transfers. This appears to be a fishing expedition designed—" "Mr. Patel," Schiff's voice was ice cold now, "is Sentinel Strategic Solutions owned by your brother-in-law, Vikram Kapoor?" The chamber froze as even the cameras seemed to stop breathing. 29 seconds had passed since Schiff's first question about the transfer. In the gallery, journalists frantically typed on their phones. Fox News anchor Brett Baier touched his earpiece, his eyes widening as producers fed him breaking information from their research team. Patel's throat worked visibly. "Senator, Vikram Kapoor is a family member." "Yes, but I had no knowledge of any business relationships between—" "Had no knowledge?" Schiff's eyebrows shot up. "Mr. Patel, I have here FBI Civilly transcripts from Operation Mockingbird, dated between March and July 20. Transcripts of phone calls between you and Ms. Kapoor discussing the, quote, committee funding pipeline and how to, quote, maximize the intelligence windfall before the election cycle ends." The blood drained from Patel's face so quickly it looked like someone had opened a valve. His legal advisor frantically scribbled notes, but Patel sat frozen, his mouth slightly open. Senator Dick Durbin leaned into his microphone. "Mr. Patel, are you asserting that these FBI transcripts are fabricated? I would need to review the full context of any alleged conversations." Schiff pulled out a second folder, this one thicker, bound with a red classified material band. "Mr. Patel, these transcripts were obtained through FISA warrants initially targeting foreign intelligence operations. The FBI was monitoring Mr. Kapoor's communications with suspected Pakistani ISI agents when your phone number appeared repeatedly in the call logs." Gasps rippled through the gallery. Senator Ted Cruz, usually Patel's strongest supporter, visibly recoiled in his chair. The accusation hung in the air like smoke from an explosion. "That's completely false." Patel's voice cracked slightly. "I have never, ever communicated with foreign intelligence operatives." "I didn't say you communicated with foreign operatives, Mr. Patel. I said the FBI was monitoring your brother-in-law's communications with them when your number appeared." Schiff's tone was surgical now. "The question is, why were you coordinating Congressional Intelligence Committee funding transfers with a man under FBI surveillance for potential espionage?" Twitter exploded. Within 90 seconds, Patel's spy scandal was trending nationally. CNN's Wolf Blister interrupted regular programming with a breaking news banner: "FBI Director nominee linked to foreign intelligence probe." In the committee room, Patel's remaining composure cracked like ice under pressure. His hands trembled as he reached for his water glass, nearly knocking over the microphone stand. "Senator Schiff," Patel's lead counsel interjected, "my client requests a brief recess to review these allegations and prepare an appropriate response." "No recess granted," Committee Chairman Dick Durbin announced firmly. "Mr. Patel, you're under oath. Did you authorize the transfer of $4.2 million in congressional intelligence funds to a company owned by a man under FBI surveillance?" 8 seconds of absolute silence followed. Cameras focused on Patel's face as sweat became visible on his forehead. Senator, I invoke my Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination." The chamber erupted. Senators talked over each other. Reporters shouted questions, and camera flashes lit up like strobe lights. Chairman Durbin's gavel pounded repeatedly, but the chaos continued for 47 seconds before order returned. Senator Susan Collins leaned forward, her voice cutting through the remaining murmur. "Mr. Patel, you're invoking the Fifth Amendment regarding your fitness to serve as FBI director?" "On advice of counsel, yes." Adam Schiff closed his portfolio with a snap that echoed through the suddenly quiet room. "Mr. Chairman, move that this committee postpone any confirmation vote pending a full FBI counterintelligence investigation into the nominee's potential compromises with foreign intelligence services." "Seconded," Senator Amy Klobuchar called out immediately. "Motion carries," Durbin announced. "This hearing is adjourned pending further investigation." As Patel stood on unsteady legs, his face ashen and his career in ruins, Schiff remained seated, organizing his papers with methodical precision. The classified folders that had destroyed a nomination in under 30 minutes were secured back into his briefcase like weapons, returning to their holster. Outside the Capitol, protesters who had gathered to support Patel's nomination began dispersing as news of his Fifth Amendment invocation spread through social media. Fox News anchors struggled to explain how their evening programming would pivot from celebrating a new FBI director to analyzing a potential espionage scandal. By 4:15 p.m., President Trump's Truth Social account posted a terse statement. Kash Patel has withdrawn his name from consideration for FBI director to focus on clearing his name from these politically motivated attacks. The deep state wins again. Within minutes, the political aftershocks rippled through Capitol Hill like an earthquake. Senator Marco Rubio, who had been preparing to deliver a passionate defense of Patel's nomination, canceled his scheduled press conference. His chief of staff was seen frantically shredding talking points in the hallway outside his office, the paper strips falling like confetti around his feet. At exactly 4:23 p.m., FBI Director Christopher Wray received a secure phone call from Deputy Director Paul Abitate. The conversation lasted 7 minutes. Sources later described Wray's face as relief mixed with vindication when he hung up, knowing his job was safe for another day. The real drama, however, was unfolding in the Hart Senate Office building's secure communication rooms. Adam Schiff sat across from Senator Mark Warner, chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee. Their faces illuminated by the glow of classified tablets displaying the full scope of Operation Mockingbird's findings. "How deep does this go, Adam?" Warner asked, his voice barely above a whisper despite the room's soundproof walls. Schiff scrolled through encrypted files, his expression growing darker with each swipe. Vikram Kapoor wasn't just taking money, Mark. He was feeding intelligence assessments to Pakistani handlers, real-time committee deliberations, classified source methods, even advance warning about planned raids on terrorist cells. Warner's pen snapped in his grip. The implications crashed over him like a tidal wave. If Patel had been confirmed as FBI director, America's most sensitive counterintelligence operations could have been compromised before they began. Meanwhile, 3 floors below in the Capitol basement, Patel sat in a secure holding room designed for witnesses requiring protection. His 3 lawyers huddled around a conference phone, their voices rising and falling in heated discussion with crisis management specialists from Quinn Emanuel law firm. "The Fifth Amendment buys time, but not credibility," his lead counsel muttered, loosening his tie. "If those Pakistani connections are real, Kash, we're not fighting a confirmation battle anymore. We're fighting a federal espionage case." Patel stared at the soundproof walls, his reflection distorted in the polished steel surface. For 15 years, he had built a reputation as a patriotic defender of American intelligence. Now, in the span of 29 seconds, Adam Schiff had reduced that legacy to ash and suspicion. His phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "The Pakistan files are just the beginning. Withdraw quietly, or we release the Beijing transcripts tomorrow." His hands shook as he deleted the message, but the damage was already spreading through his bloodstream like poison. Through the secure room's small window, he could see protesters gathering on the Capitol steps, their signs reading "Traitor" and "Foreign Agent" in bold red letters. At 4:47 p.m., CNN's Anderson Cooper broke into regular programming with exclusive footage from inside the Hart building. Security cameras had captured Patel's legal team rushing through corridors with boxes of documents, their faces grim as Capitol Police escorted them to waiting black SUVs. The images played on loop, America's would-be FBI director reduced to a man fleeing through government hallways like a fugitive. Senator Chuck Grassley, the oldest member of the Judiciary Committee, sat in his office, watching the coverage with the volume turned low. At 91, he had seen countless political scandals, but this felt different. The foreign intelligence angle transformed what should have been a routine confirmation into a potential constitutional crisis. His chief of staff knocked twice before entering. "Senator, the president's calling an emergency meeting. They want your assessment of the damage." Grassley turned off the television with a heavy sigh. "Tell them the damage isn't to the party, son. It's to the country. If half of what Schiff revealed is true, we came 29 seconds away from putting a compromised asset at the head of our domestic intelligence apparatus." Meanwhile, in a secure facility 30 miles outside Washington, NSA analysts worked through the night, cross-referencing Patel's communications with known foreign intelligence networks. The Beijing connection wasn't speculation anymore. It was documented fact, sitting in encrypted files that would reshape America's understanding of how deeply its institutions had been penetrated. Back in the hearing room, now empty, except for cleaning crews, a forgotten file folder lay wedged between cushions on the witness chair. Inside were Patel's handwritten notes from his preparation sessions, including a chilling reminder: deny all Pakistani contacts. Doesn't know about the Dubai meetings. But Adam Schiff knew about more than Dubai meetings. As he walked through the marble corridors toward his office, secure in the knowledge that American intelligence had dodged a bullet, his phone displayed 17 missed calls from reporters and one text message from FBI counterintelligence. The Beijing angle is confirmed. When do we brief the president? The question that would haunt Washington for months wasn't whether Patel was guilty of the allegations. It was how long the FBI had been watching, who else might be in those classified surveillance files, and whether America's intelligence community had been infiltrated at levels no one wanted to imagine. Sometimes the strongest weapon isn't a badge or a subpoena. It's truth, archived and revealed at the perfect moment when the cameras are rolling and there's nowhere left to hide. What happens when a leader who built power on secrecy meets a senator who specializes in exposing lies? If patriotism can't survive transparency, was it ever